Today is a special edition of the Master Mentor Series, in that we have for the first time not one, but three of the most cutting edge, the most widely known and successful, internationally recognized, best-selling authors, speakers, radio and TV hosts, experts in the personal development and transformational field. From Los Angeles, California, let's welcome Mary Morrissey. Welcome, Mary, to the Cafe of Dreams.
Thank you, Lynn. I'm thrilled to be here.
And from Orlando, Florida, let's welcome Les Brown. Les, thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
And special guest from Maui, Hawaii. Joining us by phone to be part of this conversation is the famous Dr. Wayne Dyer. Welcome to the Cafe of Dreams, Wayne.
Thank you, Lynn.
You know, it's an honor and privilege to be with you three, and it's so special to really have the opportunity for the patrons of the Cafe of Dreams to realize the impact that the three of you have made to this world. You've been influencers, you've inspired, uplifted, and have changed and transformed millions and millions of lives worldwide. And it's a body of work that over your careers, I just feel as if I'm sitting in the vortex of genius. So I want to, again, welcome you all. You know, when each of you look back on your lives, I'm sure that you can think of many, many people who have influenced you and made you what you are today. And I'm fascinated that there happens to be one man that all three of you have in common, one man who has had an extraordinary impact on your life, and it is that man to which we are giving special tribute here today. And that man's name is Jack Boland. Jack Boland is a master teacher. And you know, there's an old saying that he's a man's man. In this case, I think it's appropriate to say that Jack Boland was a mentor's mentor. So I would like to begin by asking each one of you to share a little bit about what Jack Boland meant to you, why was he so significant to you in your lives, and why are you here to pay tribute to Jack Boland today? And I'd like to start with you, Mary.
Jack Boland introduced me to a part of myself that was greater than I had ever known. I met Jack in 1987, and I had been studying the principles of transformation since 1971, but a particular part of my life, my career life, had not blossomed in the way that I just believed it was supposed to. And I traveled across the country to hear him speak at a conference where he was speaking with two other great teachers, but I stood in line a long time to talk to him, begged him to have breakfast with me. And he said he couldn't have breakfast, but he'd have coffee with me. And at that breakfast, I basically said, I want to do what you're doing. And he said, I can help you with that, but it's going to cost you. And I literally felt myself move backwards, and I said, how much?
It's going to cost you.
And he said, that's your problem. You just told me you want something to happen in your life, and I said it's going to cost you, meaning you're going to have to trade some things if you want that. And you're focusing on what you might have to give up in order to have the thing you want. I'm telling you, your problem is that you think what something costs has something to do with what you want. And I looked at him like he was speaking Chinese, and I said, of course it has something to do with what I want, because until I know how much it costs, I don't know if I can have it. And he said, again, I'm telling you, this is your problem. He said, you're a part of an infinite, abundant universe. And when you get absolutely clear about what you want, everything will line up around that. I can show you how to do this and be this. And that was the beginning of a 5-year mentorship with him that there's not hardly a day that goes by that I don't hear him in my heart and mind reminding me about the truth of who I am.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, when I am listening to you on stage, you're always referring to your mentor, Jack Boland, and really it is because of you that we're paying tribute to Jack Boland today, because it has been such an opening for you, and I want to thank you for sharing his master mentorship with you, because when we have a master mentor, and you've been my master mentor for many, many years, it does open us up and change our lives. Les, I was wondering if you would give us your impression of why Jack Boland meant so much to you.
Well, I was born in an abandoned building in a poor section of Miami, Florida called Liberty City, and with a twin brother, and we were adopted. And this woman, Mamie Brown, I always say all that I am and all that I ever hope to be I owe to my mother. And I was a state legislator in Columbus, Ohio. I resigned to go back to Miami to take care of my mother. While there, trying to think about what am I going to do now? I have no college training. I was labeled educable, mentally retarded, put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade, fell again when I was in the 8th. And I went to an event where a guy named Ed Foreman was teaching on how to become a motivational speaker. And I said, I like this. And so I went to that training. And then 3 weeks later, I was in Detroit, Michigan, and a friend of mine said, you see that church over there? It's called the Church of Today. That's where Dr. Norman Vincent Peale and Robert Schuller and other famous speakers speak there. You ought to go there and introduce yourself to Jack Boland. And as I was going in, one of the participants in the seminar in Dallas, Texas, he was coming out and he said, oh my God, Jack, this guy, Les Brown, he's here, the guy I was telling you about. And he looked at me and he said, hey, I want to book you for 4 weeks. I felt that I had 2 speeches, but I think I had 4. So I said, I'm already booked for 2 of those dates you're asking for. So he booked me, and that was my first engagement right out of the seminar. He gave me my first job as a speaker. I spoke for him over 50 times, and one of the memorable moments was he said, you know, I'm tired of seeing you going around selling these cassette tapes with a rubber band around it. So he purchased my first plastic casing for my cassette tapes, Getting Unstuck, You Gotta Be Hungry, Choosing Your Future, and Keys to Self-Motivation. And so that was the beginning for me, and he was just a tremendous influence. He said, you have a rare gift, and people are going to hear your voice, and you're going to be quite successful in taking care of your mother, but even more than that, changing other lives.
He saw that gift in you.
Yes.